And the only thing I can think of is the fact that our immigration policy is a complete mess and we focus on all the wrong things. I think we've got to talk about, and we have to have a really open, honest conversation about how to fix immigration in a way that works for everybody, and we're going to do that right now. So I'd like to welcome Casey Berman to the Paul Haratunian Show here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Casey, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So
How are you?
It's great for you to be here, and first of all, you left the law profession to move on and do something entirely different, which is you're part of an organization that helps people navigate through and get their legal status, get their green card or whatnot.
Correct. So yeah, and thank you again, Paul, for having me here. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you focusing on this issue, so thank you again. My name is Casey Berman. I'm Chief Communications Officer with FileRight.com. And what we really are is a new way for people to complete their immigration paperwork on their own online. So, similar to filing your taxes online, what we do is we enable you to easily make sure you complete your immigration paperwork, like citizenship, for example, and that you file your paperwork right the first time.
Now, for people who've never actually tried to do that before, and I was born here, so I've never had to, but I've got friends, like I said, from Europe or the Philippines. It's a daunting task.
It's a daunting task. You said it right. And I think the thing that comes up a lot is for many of us, myself born here, I'm here in San Francisco, we don't think about it, but there is just so much that goes into issues and anxiety and confusion and concerns. Our CEO and founder, Cesar Alessandrini, was raised in an immigrant family, helped his parents with all of that who didn't speak English, then later had to bring his wife and family in. They came from South America, and he went through it twice and said, you know what, there is a much better way, a new way to do this. And the technology he developed is what FileRight.com is based on. And really, where there's so much going on in the space, but one of the main issues you see is that the government has just really dropped the ball. And they dropped the ball particularly in the spot where getting these applications filed right. There are 6 to 7 million applications for citizenship, green card, documented applications, lawful applications. And 440,000 to 500,000 applications are rejected and turned back every year for simple, they don't complete a field or simple clerical mistakes. And FileRight.com is the new way to make sure that people file their paperwork right.
So I've got to ask this because obviously we're a nation that was built on immigrants. When did this become so difficult? I know the story of my grandparents coming here from Armenia. Or I've got friends whose relatives have come from Mexico or from the Ukraine or wherever it is. But it's only recently that it seems that this has gotten to be this big, mucky, mired mess that is our immigration policy. Is this recent, or is it just evolved this way, or how did we get here?
Yeah, it's a great question, and there's a lot of different nuances to it. You got the policy around should we let immigrants in, how to secure the borders. There's all of that, right? So I think this has been something that has been talked about of whether, are they taking jobs? Are they doing this? There's a lot of on the left and the right. But when it comes to the actual process, when it comes to the actual of getting this paperwork done and filing it, which is part of this whole big debate and delays and waste of money and so on, this has been going on for a very long time. The USCIS, which was formerly the INS, is still paper-based. There's been attempts that have been $3 billion over the past 10 or so years has been spent to create kind of an online system for people to file their applications. It is still paper-based. So FileRight.com.
Wait. Say that again, because I want you to say that, knowing that it's 2015 right now. Say that one more time.
Yeah. So it's still paper-based, and what I mean by that is people when they go to the CIS.gov site, you download PDFs and you print them up and you fill them out. 75% of the people who apply. This was confirmed recently. 75% of the 6 to 7 million people, lawful, documented people who apply for green cards, citizenship, family-based green cards, things like that, they do it on their own. They complete it directly on their own, and it's still paper-based. There's one form, two forms actually, who can be kind of e-filed, but there's still the supporting documents. The long story short, Paul, is that there's a lot of paper. Like your citizenship application is a long application. You need to print it up. and turn it in. There's so much opportunity for mistakes, for filling out forms, particularly people whose English isn't their first language. So, companies like ourselves, FileRight.com, our goal is to enable people so that when they complete the application, when they put it all together for filing it, they've been able to complete it fully and do it right the first time.
So is it possible, because, I mean, there are going to be people on the other side of the argument who are going to say that somebody who wants to come here might not have access to online or whatnot. Is there a viable way to have both kind of simultaneously, have a paper-based option for the system and also to be able to do everything online?
Yeah, I think you can. I mean, they can do our technology enables people to go step by step, totally online with us. It's just per the government, they have to mail it in via paper. That's why we have a print functionality. What we've done, and I've gone to Washington, D.C. myself and spoke with people there, is to try and just modernize this system. We're talking about the border and immigration reform and so on. We are knee-deep in something that is extremely important to all these people who are coming here to be citizens and to get their green cards, which is, how do I fill out these forms? And so, sure, you could always have a paper-based option, just like, you could file your taxes right now paper-based. But where we are moving, like you said, 2015, and what people really expect and the use of technology and devices, there needs to be a way where this can all be online and digitized, which is what we're doing at FileRight.com. And we've reached out to the government and talked to people there, and I think they see what we're saying, but they are just so far behind that the legacy systems, it's just really difficult to get things moving there, and that's something that's been a crusade for us because, one, we want to enable people to do this on their own in a smart and new way. Two, the government efficiency, just stop. So many tax dollars are going to dealing with these mistakes and sending things back, and then there's a huge fraud issue where people are getting deceived and their money taken away from them by fraudsters. And so those are kind of top of mind for us, where at FileRight.com we can help with this system. Can
I ask, can we get into a little bit of a different area in terms of immigration real fast?
Sure. Yeah, please.
In terms of the system that we've got right now, and there's this obviously horrible situation with the illegal who'd come back in, 4 or 5 times, who murdered this girl on Pier 14. Is it safe to say, because, I mean, maybe I'm just looking at this way too simplistically, but our immigration policy seems to be just such a disaster and such a mess, and we try to control people who are here illegally, and we've made it so tough for people to get here. If it were easier for people who were just coming to do productive work here to get in, is it safe to say that situations like this would be less likely? That we could actually follow the people who we should be following?
Right. I don't think you're looking at it too simply. I mean, Paul, I think you're right on. I think that what is the bigger thing here is that it's an issue with the system. It's an issue with the lack of communication. It's an issue with that. I mean, I know Pier 14 where Tevin was killed. I mean, I know that spot. I'm born and raised here in San Francisco, and for this to happen here, and it's just horrendous. I mean, it's just horrendous. But going to your bigger issue there around the policy, sure, we can say the system is broken and so on, but something needs to get done, and I think it really needs to get done that we need to really focus on not necessarily pointing fingers and dealing with demonizing folks, but really finding in ways that we can use our energies efficiently so that we get the right people here, so that we enable them to stay here, so that we enable them to be motivated to stay here, so that we show the economic benefits that immigration provides this country, and then we can free up, instead of going after people who are adding to the economy, but rather we can free up so to make sure that people like this are caught.
Have we ever actually had a workable guest worker program, or would that be one possible way to improve the system?
It's when I sort of look at it as one, when I think of sort of the policy of what I would do if I could snap my fingers, that is definitely part of it. I mean, one is, with the H-1B visas, is just such a farce on how we're dealing with the highly skilled workers. Two, a startup visa type program where entrepreneurs who come here, come to college, many of them can't stay. They're the ones who want to create jobs, and we should do something to keep them here. Three is this guest worker program. Explore something that we've got, 11.5 million undocumented, and create a program that kind of pulls the best practices from existing ones that, that can help keep these people here, but also keep them in a way that we can monitor and regulate. The fourth is, for the undocumented, some type of immigration reform. It doesn't necessarily need to be a path to citizenship, but some sort of legality so they can stay here and contribute to the country and keep their families. And then fifth, we've said is modernizing this process. I mean, this is paper-based. It takes forever. There's lags. There's no transparency, no insight from the government, and that's something that we need to modernize so the government can get better, and third-party technology companies like ours who are innovating and passionate about this all the time can add to this so that it can benefit the public sector, it benefits the applicants and the country as a whole.
Well, Casey, I appreciate everything you shared with us today, and it's FileRight.com?
Yes, FileRight.com, FileRight.com.
Great having you on. It's the Paul Haratunian Show, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
What puts your identity at
Clear.
debit card at the gas station? Identity thieves